Hey everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Glad to have you with us. Whether you're watching, listening here in the United States, across the world, it's because of you. We're here with sharing content with you. Thank you for your demand. If you could give us the big thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share, reach out to 25 contacts in your phone, let them know about the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. We'd greatly appreciate that. If you do hear a jingle, that's our dog, Lucy, so you're not hearing things. And if you see a head or a tail, that's also our pet dog. She kind of does her own thing. So with us today, we have David Solomon, CEO, founder with his mom of Mythical Creatures Around the World. And today we're going to have a conversation about mythical creatures around the world, some maybe a little bit of a shift in directions. I don't think it's a complete shift, but it's more of an add-on than what we had, I guess, in store. So I'm just gonna turn it over to David, and I want to welcome anybody who's new watching our show, no matter who you are, if you're a student, if you're superintendent, principal, a community member, we're grateful to have you with us. Thank you for tuning in and tell your friends about Voices for Voices. Now you now you can take it and run, David.
Well, thank you for having me back. My name is David Solomon. I'm the CEO and founder of Mythical Creatures Around the World, and also one of the founders of Voices for Voices Publishing with Justin. And today we're going to talk about the vision of what we want to do with our products and with people in general, and how we are going to reach out to communities that have not been reached. Um, as you know, I've had an eye stroke for about 4 months now, and I'm blind in one eye, and that probably will not change. um, and it's really let me put into reality what matters. Well, one of the things is getting back to what mythical is, and that is telling stories not only about faith, but about people. And so, one of my mentors, Blake, he uh, he and I had a very good conversation. He'll be coming on soon. And he's really coached me on one of our big projects set in Fort Worth, Texas, which I'm going to be unveiling pretty soon. But today we're going to talk about the small towns and why that matters. Um, I guess you could kind of call it a God thing. Um, I kind of had this gut feeling that God was urging me to look into small town folklore and reach out to all the small towns, whether schools, police, fire, restaurants, wherever these folklores are, all over the United States. And I started calling around and I started going, okay, this is interesting. And I was going back and reading reports that I have gotten because people send me thousands of messages about, cryptoid sightings or mythical sightings, because that's what I do is I investigate them. And Portage County in Ohio actually sent me a lot regarding this Bigfoot one. So we're going to have to do a story there. But um, one of them caught my eye. It was a mermaid sighting near Tillamook. It was in Garibaldi, Oregon. And I had a wonderful conversation with people there. And I am happy to announce that I am going to do a full fledged police drama set in that area. And it is going to be in the sort of the Aquaman spectrum. The original Aquaman character, his dad was a cop in the Golden Age in the 1940s. And so we're going to lean back into that. when we tell this kind of story. And then Aquaman actually originated on the Oregon coast. The creator that created him, actually got the idea off of this folklore, and I've been learning about that. So that's number one that I'm really excited for. Dog Woman of Watts in California. I'm really excited for. The Dog Woman of Santa Ana, the voice for Portland, Elmira, uh, the wolf tracker of Lowell, Oregon, Sandy's Cat People, Oregon City's The Fae Folk. Um, these stories matter, guys, because folklore is how you speak to people and how you tell stories, whether that be biblical or not. You can tell morals and parables and bring people to truth. And that is what this is going to be, not only a ministry, but an outreach, pouring out to people that don't know truth. And that matters. And so that is what this is going to do. It's going to hopefully pour out to people that need that hope in a dark world. So I reached out to all these small towns, and I'm creating a crossover event just for you guys, and all the listeners in the small towns. Every town is going to have a book. We're looking at doing TV pilots, comics, and also crossing over into video games, along with musical scores from well known artists that I'm actually happy to announce at this time. Um, and also Audible books, which means you can download them on Audible. We're looking at going on radio platforms. So we're really excited for where we're going. As you know, Mythical before had a lot of novels, but it's one thing to have a lot of novels. It's another thing to have order, because you can have a lot of volume, but you don't have a lot of quality. And so we're getting back to what matters, and we're bringing back that quality to our people. And whether you're in America, Canada, Mexico, Korea, Russia, Ukraine, China, Japan, UK, Iceland, Greenland, Antarctica, maybe you're stationed in Antarctica, because I have some friends that listen to the show. You are going to be heard, and your culture and the myths that surround your culture are going to be heard. And we're going to do justice in the best way we can to tell stories that matter and impact lives. So that's what Mythical is about. And so going forward, we really want to push an initiative to let the local small towns be heard and tell stories that matter in their communities, so that people in that town that are caught in a hard place know that there is hope and it's not hopeless. Um, I was on the phone to Rose Park, Portland yesterday, listening to all the crimes and this story about the siren. Her name is The Voice. Well, in my story, she's going to be a deaf girl and a mute girl, and we're going to go into why. And I'm also announcing, although we're going to target high schoolers and junior high to bring those magnificent, compelling stories to kids' lives so they grow up with role models, we are not forgetting our adult audience. We are creating a mature imprint that is going to be mature in every sense of the word, but have biblical backing. Let me explain that. I've been reaching out to mature authors that write about spice, and I've been asking them why they write it. And really, there's no need for it because people are getting tired of it. People want stories and not just fluff. And so a mature imprint for us is going to be a story that impacts a culture. I'm going to give you an example. There's a black pastor, and his wife is a reporter, and she's killed in a community of a Caucasian neighborhood. And the police really don't care because it's a hit and run. But he knows that she was looking into something big. Out the person that killed her has a family. He's faced with the ultimatum of either to kill them or forgive them, but not forget them. That's a lesson I had to learn all too well. And I want audiences to be heartbroken and mourn for this character and his loss. But I also want audiences to root for him to do the right thing. That's called a mature imprint. A kid imprint is about a character set in LA, and he's grown up, he's maybe those people need his help because his dad was guarding a secret. Or maybe another kid story that we could do is about a kid who gets a Christmas present of this special coat. But this coat gives you powers. And he's always been invisible his whole life. And now he feels seen. But someone else is after it. And now his life is in danger when his parents go for a conference and there's a snow blizzard that hits. It's Home Alone with superpowers. Those are kids' stories under the kid imprint. And then there's the teen imprint, right? Let me tell you what's appropriate for teens today. Complexity, right? Heavy action, heavy on the romance, and heavy on the moral compass guide. Have characters that listen to their adults and have characters that have purpose, not just violence without meaningless purpose. Let me explain what that means. There's a story right now that we're writing in a town called Elmira, Oregon. It's about a boy who he finds out that his dad isn't who he thought. And someone is trying to hunt him down now. And there was another one in the high school, and they've been kidnapped. Well, he finds out that he's part of a secret society called the Bendati, aka werewolves. So it's really cool. And he has to unravel this mystery that's happening, find out why he's being targeted. That's called a young adult novel. We have love interest. We have one set on the Oregon coast, right? And it's about a boy meets a girl at school, and the girl is kind of weird because she's always watching him. And then she learns that he's been chosen, but she's keeping her distance. And he's actually a prince of another world under the ocean. And so that's going to be a mermaid story. And my favorite in the Rogue Valley, coming to us from Lithia Park, my favorite is the fairy from Table Rock. Tabitha, a girl who's always been treated different because of her African American complexion and her faith, bullied, and then she finds out she's something different. But someone else is also hunting her. And it all ties together and interweaves into who these hunters are. And we're not just stopping there. Dana Point is in there, where we have a story in Dana Point, California, of these teenagers, and they're on the water at Salt Creek Beach, and they see this object hit the water, and it has rainbows, and then they begin to glow themselves. I can't spoil it, but I'm really excited to unveil it. We got Newport Beach, a story set by the Hoag Hospital of Folklore that people actually swear is true. We have Redondo Beach, where this girl poses as a PI in order to solve who's killing her kind in the water, because there are stories of merfolk in the water in Redondo Beach. We have Ventura Heroes. We have Santa Barbara. We have Monterey. We have San Francisco. We have Crescent City. We have Brookings, Oregon. We have Coos Bay, Astoria, Ocean Shores, Seattle's Puget Sound, the Shark, which falls into mature and also teen. Let me explain. At the Sea Caves in Oregon, outside of Newport, there's a folklore that a boy was flying with his parents and the plane went down. Well, the boy was saved and he's called the Otter Boy. Now, Canada has a variant to this, but the Otter people trained him and saved him, and he became a warrior. Well, in modern day Seattle, this boy comes back after that air crash, believed to be dead, and his family, who were killed, run a military empire for Boeing, for other things in the Puget Sound. And he's come back because there's a conspiracy to take over Seattle's port, but also the ocean itself, and he has to stop it. So he becomes a hero called the Shark. And my favorite saying is, I'm the shark and you're in my waters. I love that. So that's kind of that intermediate. Now, to Texas, Fort Worth. The legend of Batman originated in three places: Fort Worth, Irvine, California, and Brooklyn, New York. And curiously enough, the same story of a man who dressed up as a bat and fought crime. But the story says that he took a serum to become the bat creature. So we're going to keep a little bit to that. Those of you who know comics, there's a Batman villain called Man Bat that takes a serum and it turns him into a bat humanoid. Well, we're going to show that. In Fort Worth, we got several dramas that cross into that, as well as a Catwoman drama that we were doing long ago in Dallas, Texas. Those are what we call our family imprint. Adult characters, but family oriented. That means no sex, no language, no drugs. You're watching a CBS drama of Sheriff Country, Fire Country. Maybe you've seen Tracker, FBI, CIA, one of your CBS shows, or High Potential, RJ Decker, something that has family representation, right? And then on Disney Plus, you see Daredevil Reborn as that mature imprint because it has blood. And sometimes there's a need for that. And so in Dog Women of Watts, that's going to be an MA book. Not because it's going to have spice, but because it's going to have reality. for the mature, the teen, that family, and then that kid imprint. We have the young siren born, the dream dimension. That's going to fall in. That's that kid imprint that we talked about, the sequel coming. My son is co-writing it with me currently. We're also looking at his book that he's going to release soon. We're working on a video game set in Southern California because we love it there and we miss it profusely. We're going to be looking at small towns in Oregon that have stories that need to be told. Texas, Florida, Virginia, Maryland, North Dakota, especially North Dakota. Um, there's going to be some heavy stories there in North Dakota. And I've been in touch with the state police. You know, just hearing encounters they have, you would be amazed how many people talk about cryptoids and just weird encounters, whether supernatural, UFOs, or other. Bigfoot's a big one, pun intended. Portage County, Ohio has how many sightings now? That's made national news. So obviously, we're going to tell stories in Portage County coming up, in Cleveland, but we haven't forgotten our friends in Canada either. Love Has No Borders, one of my favorite stories I did in my career, but you guys never got to see it. And I was so sad. Tijuana, Mexico, the mature imprint I talked about. Trucker, about a trucker who sees these kids missing, and he follows this van, and you know he gets a feeling. A mature imprint, and then there's a time and a place for another imprint, which we call the Hallmark imprint. The Hallmark imprint is for that romance slash single mom reader or watcher slash family. But let's just call it what it is: cheesy, clean, and safe. And then there's that Lifetime imprint, which is more that true crime vibe. And then there's the other imprint, which we call the 13 Reasons Why type, but mature, but mystery. I'll give you an example. Alice is a girl who died at a school in a series that we're doing, and her ghost haunts the school, or so it's said. And you have to solve the mystery of who killed her. Or there's a thriller for teens on the Oregon coast where these kids find out there's this cult going on and they're sacrificing animals to something, and they unleash it. That's called a thriller. And then we have our cop dramas. And then we have our fire department dramas with mythicals or myths or legends. And then we have Dr. Death, our medical drama set in the Rogue Valley, which is very personal to me, where he discovers that he can, when someone is in cardiac arrest, he can actually see their soul and pull their soul before it leaves their body. It's an old Native American legend. In the Rogue Valley, he becomes Dr. Death, a superhero. It's really cool. We have Werewolves of Grants Pass, Josephine County. We have a Bigfoot teen series in Josephine County where this boy is a pastor's son and he wants to do a rebel thing, so he street races and he gets in a car accident and he's saved by the Checo Devil by the Checo River on 101 coming to Brookings. And he finds out that that's his dad. and that he's a Bigfoot. And I won't ruin it for you, but it connects to the Bible in a really cool way. So then the cat people of Mount Hood, the fairies in Oregon City, seen to this day, people say there are fairy folk. Whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter, because folklore is about telling stories to warn and to inspire. These are the stories that are told when we had no technology. But guess what, people? They're being told right now, because UFOs count as folklore. Alien planets count as folklore. Angels versus demons. True, but some of it is folklore. It's just a new way of looking at it. I saw a demon over here. I saw an angel. People want to know that story. Many of you know I've seen angels. Some people would call that folklore. It's all on how you look at things and interpret things. And so that is what Mythical is going to do. We're going to create this big world. And we're so excited to do it. One of the stories that I'm doing today, the Wampus Cat. I wrote that in Maryland, and I'm so excited because we're going to be working with some partners on it and bringing it to life. The Wampus Cat to this day is a legend used by schools, mascots, by other people to be a symbol of heroism. And let's not forget Baltimore. We love Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore Harbor. We love you. To my friends in Baltimore Harbor, people look at me and go, Baltimore? Really, David? Baltimore? That's where they need hope. If you drive downtown Baltimore, you're ready to get your car shot up. My mom made me drive that every month just to humble me and be thankful that I had a home. We would give to the poor, we would listen to people, and we would help people where we could. And to my friends in SA San Antonio, we love you too. So much crime in San Antonio, so much love, so much culture, and so many people that are so good and clean hearted. And to my people in Fort Worth, to Blake, to his dancers, to all those people that put hard work into making the world better, whether through dance and inspiring people to believe in romance again, or to get up out of bed and have hope again. To the city of Fort Worth for paving a way and showing how it's done in the film industry and telling stories that matter and getting back to the roots. But we're not stopping there. We're also bringing in space for classrooms. Imagine learning about Star Wars and Star Trek, but it's not fantasy planets. It's actually real exoplanets we could go to one day. And kids are learning the science of those planets in each book. Isn't that cool? We have to teach our generation about our heritage. And folklore, it doesn't go away, it changes and it morphs in time and it becomes something else entirely. Long ago, it was giants, then it became dragons, then it became UFOs, then it became sea serpents, mermaids. And today, well, we're still in UFOs and AI is really bringing that. But that's what Mythical Creatures is about. We're going to tell one of the biggest stories that could rival Star Wars, Marvel, and DC in every way, and have our superhero universe be represented. And that's important. It's not just a fantasy in Narnia or Lord of the Rings. This is now. This is relevant. There are going to be stories that I wrote a little bit ago that aren't going to be so relevant. I'll give you an example. Houston Batman took place during COVID, about a stay-at-home mom who's a nurse during COVID, and her son is in a sleepover with his best friend, and his name is Lewis. And Lewis discovers his dad had a suitcase under his mom's bed. He's always been forbidden, but he got a little curious. And there's a serum inside, and he never knew anything about his dad other than he walked away when he was born. Anyway, the serum spills, and it spills onto his skin, and it turns him into the Houston Batman. It's not relevant right now, but it was back then. That was during COVID when people were dying every day. But guess what? Just because I wrote it back then doesn't mean I'm not bringing it in. That story still deserves to be told. It's powerful. Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, I wrote stories about. True legends of a person that got anointed that can't be killed. He's a sniper, and God made him bulletproof, and he's just shooting all these things down. That's in there. These stories matter, guys. And some people go, well, why Korea and why North or South or East or West? It doesn't matter if they're Democrat, Republican. These are people, and they need God solution. And let's solve the problem. Let's be the problem solvers, not the problem makers. And so, concluding this episode, Mythical Creatures is going to expand with its ministry and its outreach, and it's going to bring this shared universe of all these heroes from Chicago, Illinois, to Jacksonville, um, to Indiana, to Ohio, to Pennsylvania, to Pottstown, Pennsylvania, to Philadelphia, to New York, to New Jersey, to Delaware, Michigan, Kansas, Arizona, Colorado. We love Colorado. Love them. Nevada. We love our Idaho. We love our Idaho. Montana, Alaska, Hawaii. We love our Hawaii. Mexico, Tijuana, Matamoros. Towns you've never heard of are going to be in this. I'll leave you with a little tease. I've been working with Blake, and he will be coming on the show. And his character is called the Dance Man, and I'm pleased to announce that. The Dance Man is a character that that we have created over time. When I first met Blake, I was in a dark place, and I never wanted to write again because of NDAs. I can't say everything, but I was on this project where um, it was the last project I got paid for a long time because of the pandemic. Um, it was in Fort Worth, and there were horses involved, and the horses, they wouldn't let us do the project unless I found a way to protect the horses. because they were afraid the horses would get COVID. So Blake came up with this brilliant idea and saved my entire writing career in the industry. And then I bounced back. I wrote Adrian and Jez, The Seaman, uh, Catwoman, Dallas, Fort Worth Batman, um, the Santa's Christmas Rescue, Dallas, um, and so many more during that. Atlantis Man and Myra. And during that time, and Tom, of course, and during that time, we came up with the Dance Man. And over the years, we've talked about doing things and we really wanted to. And finally, we hit that go button. And so here is the tease of what is to come from the state of Texas, representing the minority of towns you've never heard of. The official synopsis. Drum roll. Chosen by God and then going away. Our hero, we're going to call him Peter because of trademark sake. Peter was chosen at a young age to rule over Atlantis. He was given a wife. He was even given a kid. But greed took over and doors opened. And instead of shutting the doors, he had an affair. Well, his wife found out, took the kid, moved to Dallas, and swore she never wanted to see the ocean again. Fast forward to 16 years later. He's repented. He's gone back to being God's chosen, leading his people in Atlantis, in the Gulf of America, or previously the Gulf of Mexico. And he gets a call. And when I say a call, someone goes to him, not a phone call. Because how would you get a phone call in Atlantis, right? That his daughter has been kidnapped in Dallas. And it's his ex-wife who wants his help. And so he goes up there and rekindles a romance that was broken 16 years ago. A common interest to find their daughter, which leads into a huge underage trafficking ring targeting teenage girls that are taken at dance clubs and other places, and vows to track down who is doing it and why. Together, he will need the help because his wife is now a cop in Dallas. Of her police resources and other resources to find their daughter and all the other missing children that are never heard of every day. It's a love letter to what is happening right now, to the victims, both the parents and the children, because I was one of them. And that's only in Dallas, guys. We got Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. We got you. Virginia, Maryland, Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts. We got you. New York City. We got New York City. We love our New York City. So we're bringing these characters that are legends and folklore to life. I originally wrote She-Bat set in New York City, Brooklyn, because the legend of Batman also originated in Brooklyn in 1922. There's actually a mural under the Brooklyn Bridge of the original creature, the Brooklyn Batman. You can actually look it up. Or more importantly, you can go to it. And so, also for California, while we're at it, the word California is named after the Amazon queen, Queen Calliope of the Amazons, which is where we get the idea of Wonder Woman, which could predate the Greek idea of the Amazons from Troy, if you really do your research on that. That's a story for another time, but the Amazon. So we got our Wonder Woman, we got our Batman, we got our Aquaman, we got Hawkman. California is really big on the blue avens. Big Bear Lake is so big on that. Let me explain. The blue bird people are found in all folklore around the world, and they are said to be guardian angels, if you will, and bird people. Some say they're experiments from Tijuana, Mexico. Some say otherwise. And so we got Tijuana, we got you covered. We got the Omak people from Mexico that have been forgotten. We didn't forget you. We didn't forget you. So we're going there. Um, we got Houston. We got Port Arthur. Corpus Christi is going to be with us. So much love to Corpus. That's where I really fell in love with riding again, is Corpus Christi, Texas. We love that. Laguna Beach, coming back to mom's roots in Laguna Beach. Love Laguna. So much lore, so much love, so many stories. One of my favorite stories is about 1,000 steps. My mom was at a hyperbaric chamber in in the area of Anaheim. Dear friend named Mark, and this person told me a story they grew up with living in Laguna Beach. This boy wanted to impress a girl. He was a prince of the water, and she was from another, kingdom, if you will, because it's native. Anyway, the story goes that the boy impressed her so good that he made a wave, but there was a human caught in that wave, and it killed him. So then the boy was low cost. It's one of the most hard hitting stories on my Facebook page that people loved when I drew it. It's Native American times, but it's why it got its name, Thousand Steps Beach. It's so, you have to read the end of it, but he gets forgiven and he learns his lesson and he gives back to the people. And so Laguna Beach, when it was native land, the story goes on that he repents, he knows that it was wrong, and he gives up his powers and becomes human. That's an aspect no one saw coming. And then you have Dana Point, the dolphins, and the whales from, some people say they're from Sirius, which is a planet. And again, there's that UFO folklore, right? Camp Pendleton, they have Bigfoot sightings to this day. San Diego, we got you. They say there's a city under San Diego that are Bigfoots. Okay, let's talk about it. My favorite is I have good friends in the border of Mexico and Tijuana and the United States Friendship State Park. Um, the Garcias, and they talk about the snake people. They shapeshift into snakes and they kidnap people and take them to Mexico. And then the most chilling one are these orbs that guide people to safety on the border, sneaking through because they're being hunted down back to safety. Let me be clear, that's not illegals coming in and being guided. It's people that were trafficked, people that were kidnapped, or people going into Mexico on the run being chased. There's so many stories of these orbs guiding them. And then shapeshifting into people that go back into the ocean. I had a experience. I interviewed someone. They were surfing in San Diego, Coronado, and they went under. And then a hand grabbed him from under and pulled them. He was handsome. He was pitch black, but he had the kindest face you would ever see. But he only looked black because of the water. He was actually angelic. We have a story like that in Huntington Beach called The Divine Diver. If someone goes off the pier, this mysterious divine diver saves them. So many stories are out there that are told in modern day, and we got to make sure they don't get forgotten. And guys, this is just a small portion. I'll leave you with this. San Pedro, Long Beach. Guess what? There's a shipwreck and there's an entire parade. And the shipwreck, it's said that sirens, mermaids, saved the sailors and they had children with them. And those children are who the captains are in the harbor today. Now, whether you believe it or not, there's some really weird things out there where these people, these descendants, these bigwigs in Long Beach, they actually believe that they are descendants of this bloodline. And you can visit that shipwreck. Isn't it so cool to see the folklore of what is out there in your own backyard? The weeping woman everywhere in California, where there's a Latino or Mexican population, because it's Latino folklore. And where you have a population of people from another culture, well, they bring their folklore with them. That's why in Irvine, you find mostly Asian folklore and not native folklore. That's why in the city of Los Angeles, it's so mixed. It's like New York. Those are the two cities that you just, for lack of a better term, there's so much, it's hard to actually write in that city because it's a melding pot of cultures coming together and trying to act as one. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's just a preview of what Mythical is up to and what we're doing. And believe you me, we got so much coming. I almost forgot the Yukon. We're loving on those people. Um, the Hudson Bay of Canada, we got stories coming. Places you've never heard of, we're doing. Do you know there's a volcano in Oregon right now that's erupting? And there's a legend that people are under the volcano and that's why it's erupting and it's going to destroy their home. It's native folklore, but people on the Oregon coast actually are scared that something might be out there because there are stories in Garibaldi, in Tillamook, um, in yachts or yachts in the harbor, there's over 50 reports of a mermaid sighting in the last 10 years. It's quite something. So these stories are going to come to life. Werewolf sightings in Elmira, in Lowell. We got the lake monsters seen in the lake in Lowell, Oregon. So much folklore. You guys are in for a treat. And again, every story connects. And that's what's so exciting. So, like the voice in Portland, the deaf and mute girl, connects to the black pastor, the shield, connects to the other mature hero in our Portland heroes um, story, Lumeria, which we're bringing in. We're also going to be bringing in other heroes too in that mature imprint, as it's appropriate to make it mature and not. And there's different levels of what our imprint will be, but it will always have that faith-filled message, and it will always be representing Narnia and Lord of the Rings, and with the genre of Christian fantasy, fiction, and sci-fi, and speculative fiction is heart, soul, purpose, love, parable storytelling, and leading people to truth, and letting people see life, light, and expose lies. And when you read our books and when you see our TV shows and listen to our music, you are going to become a better person, not because we're good writers, but because the story itself will give you purpose to carry on in your own journey. It's supposed to support you wherever you are and be relevant to where you need to go. I'm so excited to be a part of that with you and walk with you and let God walk with you and be a part of that where God gets to take over and say, hey, I got the reins. Let me take you from here. But I'm that kickoff, and I'm being used with Mythical as that kickoff. My son, my wife, we are helping people find truth, but also heritage, showing culture. You're also learning, though. You're learning so much. So, we're also going to be doing biblical times. We're going back in time and telling biblical epics. I'll give you an example. In 2 Samuel, it talks about the lion men of Moab, and those are cat people or the Hopi. Cat people in the Bible. There's another verse in Ezekiel that talks about satyrs and centaurs. You would be amazed what the Bible says about mythicals. In Revelations, fairies are mentioned, pixies, mermaids. It's incredible what the Bible says. And what's even more incredible is every myth and every legend goes actually back to the Bible, literally, no matter what you do. If you're a Satanist and you worship Satan, well, Satan's in the Bible. So with Hollywood, it's in the Bible. You can't say the Bible isn't real because everything goes back to it. I also want to give a special thanks because we've been in so much lore with production to Mike in LA. Um, Mike is one of my dear friends who runs a studio in LA, and he's been so patient. and we've been working with Film LA constantly and other resources to get this done appropriately and get this vision set. We're also going to be announcing pretty soon a big moment for Voices for Voices publishing, Voices for Voices audio, and Voices for Voices records, and you guys are going to be ready for that. But Mythical is going to also be doing merchandise and toys, and we're going to bring the Bible to life. We're going to bring legends to life and folklore to life and heroes to life that matter. The Charman of LA, from Los Angeles Forest, about a boy, well, legend, a man who controls fire. All these are going to be brought to life. And I look forward to inspiring people and also showing people where these Marvel and DC heroes were inspired from. Again, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Hawkman, and the Flash, who is called Black Flash in Providence, Rhode Island. There is a cryptoid in the 20s who moves at super speed and actually has the same outfit as our hero, the Flash. A little darker, a little bit more mythical looking, but same idea, runs at super speed. Now, he's a villain, but that's where they got the idea of the Flash. Spring Jack is his name in Britain. If you trace Wonder Woman or Batman, all these heroes, even Spider Man, there's a spider folklore from San Bernardino of a Spider Woman that literally crawls on buildings and spins webs, but she doesn't wear a mask and she's Asian. But it's very old. And Stanley got a lot of his ideas from folklore. I mean, look at Thor. Um, it's just really mind blowing how much we got from folklore. Pretty much everything in modern day. Even Star Wars is based off of folklore. Bray's Point, Oregon had a lot to do with the creation of Yoda and the Jedi and the Force, which is why a lot of creators like Timothy Zahn and others live in Oregon because a lot of Star Wars ideas originated in the Pacific Northwest of the Oregon coast. H.P. Lovecraft, another great one, originated folklore off of the Oregon coast. The old ones, the Sageeth, the Kadra, um, or I always butcher it, the Cthulhu. All these stories originate on the Oregon coast. So anyway, I am deeply thrilled, ready to meet the need, and launch Mythical for what it's meant to be, a resource and a recharge for those that are fed up with what is going on in the world that is so dark and want light. And reaching out to schools, to uh, cities, to towns, to communities, and letting them know they have legends and stories that need to be told. Because every superhero in Marvel and DC, for the most part, is New York. Why don't we see a superhero from Elmira, Oregon, or Lowell, Oregon, or Garibaldi, Oregon, or Tillamook, Oregon? Why don't we see that? Or California. Los Angeles is so big, yet we never see heroes from there. So, welcome to Mythical Creatures Around the World's Vision. And together with the Voices for Voices Publishing, we're going to get there. Again, we're going to be putting a lot out, a lot of volume, but it's always quality over quantity. And today I'll be doing just that. So I'll let Justin take it from here, but keep an eye out. We got so many good projects coming, and we're so excited for it. And we'd like to thank the people that have supported Mythical over the years. Um, no matter what, on a personal basis, so many people have been loyal because of its vision. It started on Holy Worlds, it grew, it started as a ministry in 2012 on Facebook, and it became something entirely bigger and different. But it still is a ministry. It's just grown. It's a resource for ChatGPT, even where it sources folklore, going, oh, yeah, there's a folklore here. When someone types into ChatGPT, if there's a folklore in Brookings or in Portage County. So Mythical's really made a difference. And we really want to make Mythical get more numbers, because the stories we're going to tell, we want to impact more lives with originality and with purpose of these heroes and heritage of where these heroes come from, and that you are a part of their history and their story, and that you see yourself in their story. These are the modern day parables, not with agenda, not with propaganda, not with politics, but with people. People driven and by people made, not with AI. So thank you for supporting mythical creatures around the world from Holy Worlds till now. Let's be a part of the change, and let's be a part of the solution and not the problem. I'll let Justin take it away because he is the host and founder of Voices for Voices. And I will be talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, David, for going so much detail and sharing so much. Just amazing the the speed and the depth that your mind works, and it is it's a blessing to have you on board. And, as you mentioned, there were things that we can mention and things that we can't. Uh, but so much to say that there will be things happening that I never saw coming. Um, Things that I thought about years ago and wanted to do on like kind of like a tiny level, and they're going to be done on big time level. Uh, so definitely keep your eyes and ears open. Uh, we we are we are going to be reaching out and partnering with schools, with communities. We're going to have signings. There's going to be so many cool things that are going to be happening. And when you think about the next generation of leaders, I mean that's literally who they are. I mean they're in school, they're learning, and to integrate our books, which are, no matter which imprint, are clean, as opposed to a lot, if not all, that's out there right now. It's a big deal. And to include everybody, not just yeah, David mentioned, we're including, small towns, small schools, small areas. And yeah, why shouldn't their story be told? Uh, why shouldn't the world find out and learn more about them? Well, that time is now, because that process is well well down the road. And so I'd invite you here to, if you have Facebook, or even if you don't have Facebook, get Facebook just so you can follow mythical creatures around the world. We we do have some, uh, well, we have a lot of posts, but the most recent ones will make a little bit of sense to what we're talking about. And as things come and as the time is appropriate, um, you'll learn more and more about what is going on, uh, how you can help. Right now, word of mouth, letting everybody, uh, in your, your friend circle or whatever the buzzwords are now, letting them know about mythical creatures around the world, about Voices for Voices. We're a charity. We're a 501(c)(3). We just banged out 480 episodes in just over a couple years. We have all kinds of guests. So I'd also recommend letting your friends and your colleagues and your loved ones and your youth group members and your teammates, and let everybody know about Voices for Voices. We have huge goals. David has huge goals with Mythical. Voices for Voices. That's why it's a good mix, because our goals, we want to help as many people as we absolutely can during our very short time on Earth. And that's really what it comes down to. And we just want to, thank David for coming on the show today and sharing so much. And again, welcome to any new viewers, listeners. Again, we have 480 episodes, so I, I, I can assure you that there's at least 50 or 60 episodes, if not more, that will kind of hit home with you, whether it's a guest, whether it's a topic. We talk about easy topics, but we also talk about hard topics. So what is that? That's life. We talk about life, and a lot of shows won't talk about that because they want to talk about a lot of fluff, and that's okay. And there's room for everybody at the table. But we're just keeping things real, uh, because life isn't uh, all just fun and games. I mean, we wish it was, but it's not. So thank you to
And
David. Oh, good.
we're also going to be having some heavy guests on the show too in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, and that kind of goes, yeah, that goes along with the a lot of things that are going to be going on. Like I'm just floored with. Uh, I'm just floored with what we've kind of really just been talking the last couple of days, really just ironing out some of those things, some of those details. But along with those are, yeah, we're gonna have some heavy guests, and again, you can either be with us or you cannot. And we're for everybody. I'm a believer, David's a believer, but that doesn't mean you have to be. To follow, to be a part of Voices for Voices, to follow or be a part of mythical creatures around the world. There's room for everybody at our table, and that I think is the big takeaway on top of the topics that we shared today. And again, you're gonna wanna be one of the first to find out when some of these things start dropping. And it's it's really just remarkable. And uh yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for joining us. If you can, give us a thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for wherever you are at in the United States or across the world. We love you equally. We're praying for you, even if you're not a believer, that you have a happy, healthy, prosperous life, whatever that looks like for you. And we will see you on the next episode. And until then, let's celebrate all the voices around the world and let's be a voice for ourselves, but also for maybe somebody that may need a little help sharing their voice. So thank you very much. We'll see you next time. And thanks to David Solomon, our guest today. Bye bye for now.